Welcome to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Real, taking time out of your day to come watch this episode. I really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe for me. I'd really appreciate that as well. That's the best way you can support this channel and help me grow my content and grow this channel to where I'd like it to be. Everybody hit the like button for me on the way in on this video today. That also helps promote this video more in the algorithms, helps grow this channel more as well. Please share this content. I would really appreciate that. My guests would as well. If you would please share this episode with someone you know that maybe is interested in the topic we're talking about today. Please leave a comment below as well. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. You can interact with myself and the guest on the panel and the live chat as well. Whatever we're talking about, just leave a comment there in the live chat. Pop in and say hello. We'll put it on the screen for you. And yeah, without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I got out today, went to the local parade, and went out to eat and stuff and celebrated the 4th of July. Celebrated our freedom. God bless America, and God bless all you guys. Thank you for tuning in today. Welcome on into The Real. Salute to my man Humble in the chat. Happy 4th, everyone. Welcome in. Absolutely salute the Humble. And I'm going to get right to it today. We got some fireworks already, folks. So buckle up because here we go. So before I get into it, like I said, if you're new here, please like, subscribe, and share. Please subscribe. It's free. It's a simple tap of the button, and it really helps us go a long way. And I would subscribe right now because I'm going to be doing a lot of content, I think, coming up here soon. Well, I already have sent around the topic today, so we'll keep you up to date on what's going on. But starting right now, we'll keep you up to date what's going on today. So LeBron James was spotted today at the Cleveland Cavaliers practice facility. There's been a lot of rumors and talk in the last week about LeBron since he opted into the contract, right? And his agent, Rich Paul, put out a pretty cryptic statement in a way that was kind of like, basically saying, hey, man, if you guys don't, if LeBron doesn't feel like the team's going to have to win next year for a championship because he wants to compete for a championship next year, then he'll leave. And, or, threaten to leave, maybe force a trade or whatever. Maybe although he never said force a trade and never threatened via trade. He just said basically what Shams Charania said that day too when he was on reported it. Basically said, we'll see where those discussions go. If LeBron doesn't feel like it's where it needs to be. So I think we're at that point now. It's almost a week later. LeBron has not only tried to die down or try to, I don't say die down, try to put water on the smoke or on the fire, or try to, keep everything, at a point where it's like, hey, I'm still going to Lakers next year. Like, I don't plan on leaving. He hasn't tried to shoot down any of the rumors or try to water it down or anything. Matter of fact, he's egged it on. And so this is very fascinating, this whole story this last week. I mean, we've been covering it on here over Mantunin Sports Show. We've talked about it a lot. And it's just been a whirlwind. And LeBron's actually obviously in town right now in Northeast Ohio in the Akron, Cleveland area. He's been out golfing. I'm sure you guys have seen. He's been in the area, which he usually comes back. I think he's been back a few times 4th of July since he left for LA. But obviously comes back in the summertime. But this time, obviously, it's a lot different with the statement last week from Rich Paul and just all the things that he's done since that happened last Sunday when they opted in, and how all the little cryptic things he's done since. So, and in my opinion, all leads towards the Cavs. It's all pointing at Cleveland. I know the Dallas Mavericks have been rumored a lot. Dallas put out a report yesterday through David Medman report, excuse me, that the Dallas Mavericks only be interested in LeBron if he was bought out. And I'm going to get into that today about the buyout because I'm going to start with this first. I don't think LeBron is going to get traded from the Lakers. I don't think LeBron wants to trade on his resume at all in his career. And a trade is still very complicated. Are there pathways? Brian Windhorst has opened up to it. Are there pathways to a trade with Dallas? And, I know the Cavs are a little more complicated. They got the second apron they got to deal with. But are there paths to trades with teams? Yes. However, LeBron has a no trade clause. That means he can dictate if he wants the trade to happen and where he wants to go. And if LeBron wants to compete for a championship next year, but he wants to leave LA, I don't think he would force a trade to pull pieces from that team. And like I said, the biggest piece of that would be having a trade on his resume. Michael Jordan never had a trade on his resume. Kobe Bryant never had a trade on his resume. None of the great all-time great players in the top 5 to 10 players of all time, which he is, most of them don't have trades on their resume. So I don't think LeBron wants that, especially this late in his career. He wants to go somewhere where it's set up for him, where he feels like it's set up for him to win. And every time he's exited from a team, he's been able to pick and choose where he wants to go and not pull from that team. And so I think the Dallas Mavericks, from some people I heard last night and just my observation, I don't think they're a real option. I don't. I'm not saying never say never. I think LeBron has considered Dallas in the past, but I don't think Dallas is a real threat. I don't think Dallas is actually really in play to get LeBron James. He's not getting traded there. And even if he gets bought out, which I think could be where this is all heading, I don't think he's going to Dallas. I think LeBron wants to go to the East Coast or to the Eastern Conference because it's wide open. If you really want to win a championship next year, you would go to the East. Though Jason Tatum, Celtics are not a player. Tyrese Halliburton out most of next year with the Achilles. Other than that, the Knicks, I know they just hired Mike Brown. And then you got the younger team and the Orlando Magic, who got better this offseason, but adding Desmond Bane. But the East is wide, wide open next year. And if you put LeBron James on that Cavs team that, it's been trying to get over the hump, lacks experience, lacks leadership at times, in my opinion, lacks someone else who can put the ball in their hands and can take over the game. I mean, LeBron, even at age 41 or almost 41, whatever he is, 40, 41, I mean, still a top 5 player in the league. I think top 5, but top 5 to 10 player in the league, especially when he's still on, in full go mode. He's still a top 5, 10 player in the league. Adding him to your roster with this, especially this Cavs roster, instantly makes you the favorites in the East. I know the Knicks have been rumored. I know some people thought yesterday, well, Mike Brown, LeBron's former coach. I don't think the Knicks are a player. LeBron, you got to remember, I think LeBron respects Mike Brown. I'm sure as the years went on, I'm sure they have a respectful relationship. But LeBron's also the same guy who had Mike Brown fired before he came back in 2014. He was not coming back if they wouldn't have fired Mike Brown. He's not playing for Mike Brown. So we can scratch off the Knicks. You can scratch off the Mavericks. I don't think he's going there. And plus, Kyrie's not coming back till he may. A lot of people, some people don't think Kyrie's going to be back for most of next season, which will be later in that season. I know they said the earliest is January at the earliest. That's still an unknown thing. I don't think he's going to Dallas. I don't think he's going to the Knicks. It's all back to one place, and that's what he's hinting at. And if you paid attention this whole week, starting today, obviously the big one's today. LeBron back at the Cavs practice facility up in Independence. I believe that gentleman right there he's taking the picture with is a Cavs Summer League player. Obviously, teams are getting ready right now for the Summer League. You heard Bronny this week get asked about what's going on with his dad, and he said he don't know. But he was preparing for the Lakers Summer League because obviously he's under contract. He's going to go do his job, and good to see him back. Looking, hopefully he has a good improves next season. I'm rooting for the kid, but so yeah, LeBron pops into the practice facility today. I don't think LeBron's been back to that practice facility. Good chance he hasn't been back there since he left in 2018 either. But why would you choose to go there this week? Sounds very it's like my man Humbles. LeBron's the best at subliminal messaging. I'm going to leave this up here because this is 100% key. Shout out my man Mike Antonis. Happy 4th, everybody. Like, subscribe, and share. Absolutely. Shout out to my man Bruce is in the chat. Bruce is laughing. Shout out to you, Bruce. He said, I agree. Kyrie isn't coming back all season. I don't. Kyrie, they said the earliest is January, but I don't think he'll be back till most of the next season. Maybe late March, possibly, or somewhere in there right for the playoffs. Shout out to you, Bruce, and good to see you, Mike. But again, LeBron decides, hey, let's pop in at the Cavs practice facility today. It's like my man Humble said. I'm gonna leave that up there. The best at subliminal messaging. Let's move on now. Allie Clifton, you guys remember in Cleveland? He's still narrative at it again. Yes, he is, Bruce. He's a master at it as well. Now let's get into some of these real quick, and I'll come back to you guys' comments. I want to break this down. So, Allie Clifton, who used to be the Cavs Fox Sports Ohio host, obviously show host, sideline reporter. Obviously went out to LA when LeBron went out there. And her and I believe maybe that's her husband or somebody. I think it's her husband. Anyway, she looks like she's in Ohio. I don't know, Lake. She's from the Toledo area, if I believe. I know she went to Toledo, but she's from the Ohio area, local girl. And she posted this yesterday. It said favorite 2 days in full swing. And obviously got the Cavs LeBron jerseys on. And LeBron down there at the bottom put proper attire. Interesting, and reposted it on his Instagram story. Let's continue. Obviously, LeBron the other day golfing. I know which golf course it was at. 10 minutes from me. I'm not going to say where, but you guys can figure it out if you're from here. Had a welcome home hat on. Had it on again last night. He was golfing as well with some of his guys who I actually have met before. Saw one of the guys he was with yesterday. I actually saw recently. Um, yeah, one of his childhood best friends was on the Fab Five, and shout out to him. So, with the welcome home hat on yesterday, interesting. And so LeBron sent in a lot of subliminal messages, obviously. And like I said on my show Monday, I think the Lakers obviously have transitioned to Luka Doncic. Um, you know, they're full blown Luka mode now. Obviously, they got their franchise guy going forward. They got new ownership in Mark Walter. And there's reports that have came out that said in 26, 27, they're eyeing to sign free agents in that period to build around Luka. I think the Lakers' whole objective right now is just to clear cap space and not hurt their cap, and to keep their cap space open for next year. I think this upcoming season, 25, 26, with the new ownership, I think it's a pure evaluation. Let's see how does Luka look now when he's lost some weight? What does JJ Redick look like in year 2? Let's evaluate Rob Pelinka, who I think is on the hot seat. And there's already rumors about Bob Myers and Magic Johnson. Obviously, Magic Johnson's relationship with the new ownership through the Dodgers. They already work together with the Dodgers, so obviously know each other very well. I think the Lakers next year is a full evaluation. I still think Austin Reeves will get traded eventually because I don't think they want to pay him the money he wants. If he felt he got lowballed, him and his agent, I think eventually Austin Reeves will get traded. I still believe that. And so, but again, you look at the signings they've made. DeAndre Ayton, strictly Luka Doncic signing. Same agent as Luka. Brought back Jackson Hayes, who a lot of people thought was going to be long gone from that roster because he didn't really do a whole lot of anything last year. But he has the same agent as who? Luka Doncic. Very similar to when LeBron had a lot of control there early on in his time in LA, and it was basically a lot of people used to call it the Clutch Lakers, the Clutch Sports Lakers. He used to always bring in all Clutch Sports guys, a lot of the roster. Now you're seeing the transition to Luka and his agency. A lot of guys with the same agency as Luka are now being signed by the Lakers, a la DeAndre Ayton and Jackson Hayes being brought back. Interesting. And there's been a lot of reports that, you've seen what Brian Windhorst has said that, the Lakers are viewing LeBron as an expiring contract, that basically he has no power anymore. And that's why I said 2 weeks ago when they sold that team, watch out, because LeBron's power is gone. Yes, Jeannie Buss is still technically under a governor role there, but she has no power. You know what I mean? Why? Yeah, I'm sure they would, hey, we'll buy the team from you. You could still run it. No, they're buying the team because they want to run the team. They bought the Lakers to run the Lakers. All Jeannie Buss is, that's all smoke and mirrors. She's just a face in the thing to keep the Buss family in around the Lakers attached to it. She gets some input, but she ain't making the decision. She ain't paying the bottom line. So that's all it comes down to. She's not in charge. This new ownership is making it clear what they want to do. And I think they are going full-blown Luka Doncic mode, as they should. I think that's a smart play for them. They're building around Luka. And I think LeBron is at a point now that I think he is, I think what a lot of his statement, is true, that he wants his last 2 years to go the way he wants it to go, which that's why he's always been. He's always controlled what happens in his career, where he goes. He's always been in control. Now, a lot of people said, why would he opt in? Why didn't he just opt out? Here's what I think LeBron's doing. I think LeBron knows I need the 53. I think he wants the almost $53 million. It's a lot of money, especially if you're somebody who has aspirations to own a team one day. Get as much coin as you can. It's not cheap purchasing NBA teams or even buying minority stakes, which is probably where he'll end up buying a minority stake, which I'll get to that in a minute. But also, I think he's smart in a way where he knows, hey, if I opt out, I'm going to get way less money somewhere else. The only place that could offered him a max contract was the Brooklyn Nets. Well, obviously, he wasn't going there. And so I think he knows, here, I'll get the $53 million. We'll put out that statement, which is very calculated in putting the Lakers on notice. The Lakers already know what time it is. They weren't surprised by that. I think what LeBron is doing with all this subliminal messaging and everything is he knows a trade's not going to happen, because he also knows the Lakers, and the Lakers know this. The Lakers know they're not going to trade LeBron and bring in more contracts that maybe they don't want, because their goal is to keep their cap as clear as possible for 2026 and 2027, those 2 years, that window, to get a second superstar next to LeBron. I don't maybe Giannis Antetokounmpo, who knows? We'll see where he's at in a year. I don't think because I don't think Giannis getting traded this obviously. I think next year, probably the year, and the Lakers will definitely be a team I'd look out for to acquire him. But you got to keep your cap space available. They're not going to bring in guys from a different team to trade LeBron where he wants to go and bring in contracts that they probably don't want really because they would add more to their books for the future. You bring in a Jaron Allen, that's $20 million added to your book down the road. I don't think they want that. And you know, I mean, even some other contracts. So this is LeBron knows this. He knows exactly where this is going to go all along. The Dallas Mavericks, who have been rumored about LeBron, that's why they put out that Damian Miniman said that yesterday. They put out the little thing that we'd only be interested in the buyout because they all know LeBron, the only way out is a buyout. And so that's where this is all heading. And he knows it. And I think if LeBron truly wants out, like I said Monday, he has been the one to push the buttons. He has to be the one to needle the Lakers. He has to be the one to do all these cryptic things where now it's getting to a point where it's like, you know, I don't I don't think the Lakers are very happy about this if he wants to come back next year. You know, when he in 2022, when he went to Jason Lloyd and put out in that article that weekend, because he was pissed off because they didn't trade Kendrick Nunn and Russell Westbrook. And that was the season that year for the Lakers was going south, and he was pissed. He went to Jason Lloyd and said, yeah, I'd always leave the door open to come back to Cleveland. And the Lakers weren't very happy about that statement. And by the time he got back to LA, they had to clear the air on some things, which has been reported. You know, they weren't happy about that. And then Jeannie Buss, who was the control, who was the one LeBron could always get to do what he wanted because she was indebted to LeBron because he made her so much money and basically saved the franchise. She was the one to control at the time. She paid $8 billion out of her own money to get Russell Westbrook out of town because LeBron wanted him out. And she wasn't the richest of owners. The Lakers are rich. She was never really rich as compared to ownership wise. She was one of the poorest owners in the league. So, but again, she always catered to LeBron. Well, that power's gone, right? The power's gone now for LeBron. There's no more catering. There's no more what you want. The report about him having no input is true. He has no input. You know, I mean, they basically told LeBron, listen, you can opt in your $53 million, but we're done with you after the season. Like, they're not interested in bringing back LeBron. The only way they would bring back LeBron to an extension for next season after this upcoming one would be on a minimum contract. The Lakers are moving on to Luka Doncic. That's their guy. They're signing all his dudes. That's where it's heading. All right, it's over. Like it's done. It's like what Brian Windhorst says: LeBron's days in LA are being numbered. They truly are. But how's it really going to end? Does LeBron really want to go back next year and play for the Lakers? Because I know some people say, well, that team's still built for him. I don't think it is. That if you put LeBron, even if LeBron's on that Lakers team next year, I don't think DeAndre Ayton's moving the needle. I'm sorry. There's two teams that paid the guy to leave for a reason. He ain't moving the needle. Jackson Hayes gave you nothing next year. What do you think they gave you more rebounds next year? Well, he gave you 0. What is he going to give you 2 next year? No. I mean, the Lakers are not. They're not doing anything. They're not. Yeah, they won. They finished in the 3rd seed. Congratulations. The Cavs finished number 1 at 60-something wins. How'd that pan out for them? How'd it pan out for the Lakers? You got to be built for the postseason. That Lakers team, they have no bench. And they're not built for the postseason. And they know they're not going to win next year. That's why you come out and you put reports out there that say, hey, we're built for 26 and 27 because you know next year you ain't winning shit. So LeBron knows they're not winning shit. And that's why if LeBron truly wants to win a championship, his best shot is coming back to Cleveland, right? It's the easiest. He can come to Cleveland, go back to the team he's always where it started, finish his career. And I think the Cavs are at a point too where they need a starting 3. They need experience. I know there's a lot more that comes to LeBron, but I think they could make it work because of it's clear. And I think he's got a relationship with a lot of guys on the team already. People in the building, obviously he's there today. So I think it could be the best chance for both sides to win. I don't think the Cavs, as currently constructed, can win a championship. I don't think they have the experience still. I think they need another Wayne. I like the Lonzo Ball addition, but we've seen it the last 3 years of this Cavs team, and I think what they lack is leadership and experience and the know-how to win, right? We don't have that in the building. I like the addition of Larry Nance. I like that. But you still need one more big piece, I think. And he would be the big piece. And that's where I think this could all be heading. But again, he has to needle them to he's needling them by these messages to I think it's going to head towards a buyout. because I think the Lakers are at a point. Some people say, well, why would they buy him out? Well, if you're building a team around Luka and you know LeBron doesn't really want to be there next year, you're not going to keep LeBron in the building. That's not a good. It's not good for the chemistry in the building. It's just not a. You might as well just move off of him. I mean, you're paying him $53 million already. You're not trying to win next year. You might as well just get him out of the building and move off of him and clear some of your cap. I think if they still bought him out, we just saw Dame Lillard get bought out for $100-something million. I'm sure the Lakers can buy out LeBron. And if he really wants out and they don't want to trade him because they don't want to brand future assets, because their whole goal is clearing their books for 26 and 27 to get a star around Luka, which has been reported. And he wants out, I think it's heading towards the buyout. And I think LeBron knows what he's doing. I think he's trying to needle it. He's done everything right. You saw him 2 weeks ago. He's working out with Lakers gear on, right? Like, I'm all in on LA, yep, and all this. And then here comes this statement last Sunday from Rich Paul, acting like, oh, I want to be in LA, but I don't think you're good enough, so I'll look from afar and monitor everything. And then, hey, I'm going to go to the Cavs facility this week. And, hey, I'm going to wear welcome home in my hat in Akron, Ohio, in Cleveland area. And then I'm going to go, Allie Clifton's going to have on Cavs jerseys, and I'm going to sit there and repost it and talk about great apparel. I mean, this dude, he's very calculating in everything he does. And I'm not surprised by any of this. But again, like I said, I think it's going to get to a point, maybe by the end of this weekend, maybe by Sunday, where they got to make a decision. You remember the second half, the last part of Sham's reporting when he first reported this last Sunday was, if LeBron gets to a point where he doesn't feel like he wants to be in LA anymore, and he doesn't feel like he can win there, and both sides are going to have some discussions. And I think, the Lakers understand what time it is. I think if they know he doesn't want to be there, you don't want to keep him around. You don't want to keep a LeBron James in your building that doesn't want to be there. You're not going to get the full LeBron James. And so you got to get rid of him. You got to move on and let Luka know, hey, this is fully your team now. No other star, right? We're doing everything around you next year, even at the trade deadline. Every trade will be, everything's for you now. It's your franchise. It's not LeBron's franchise anymore. And so, and I think, not a good spirit. I'm not a good spirit, but if the league wants the LeBron James experiment to, or not the experiment, excuse me, if the league wants LeBron James's career to end in a big fashion, because it is a lot of ratings still, whether you like the guy or not, he still draws a lot of ratings and stuff. He's still a mega star. They're not a star in the East Coast next year. Jason Tatum's out. I mean, there's no mega star, and the league's rebooting next year. They got the new NBC deal. They got the new TV deal next year. Next year is kind of like a relaunch for the NBA in a way. They need a star on the East Coast. Put LeBron in Cleveland. Everybody will be tuning in and watching, I guarantee it. So, we got a lot of comments here. I'm not going to try to get to all of them because there's just some. I think some of you guys are actually just talking to each other. Let's get to some of these comments real quick. Shout out to Wally. Good to see you, brother. 330 fam. If LeBron leaves, do you see JJ wanting to stay and help the? Well, yeah, I mean, he's got a job there. He's not going to leave his job. I think JJ will be under evaluation next year. And I think how he does next season, I think that's when we'll know if he's the guy moving forward for the Lakers. But he's not going anywhere right now. Not sure. I think him and Luka have a pretty good relationship, it looks like. Shout out to my Aunt Joan. Happy 4th. He posted that to get attention. Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing. 100%, Bruce. He's definitely, something's very calculated with all this for sure. No doubt about it. Shout out to Param John. He said at work now. What's good, brother? What's good, Param John? Good to see you. He said it's happening. The buyout is coming, it's happening. The buyout is happening. Seems to be where it's heading. Param John seems to be heading that way. Who's going to get fireworks with LeBron? LeBron news today. LeBron with the phone is a dangerous man. He said Larry, Zoe, and Braun, a lot of chemistry in the room. Bring back Love too. Kevin Love would be interesting. I wouldn't mind that if LeBron came back. Might not bring Kevin Love back too, so that'd be interesting. We'll see what happens. But I got a clip here I want to react to from Jason Lloyd yesterday. Via the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Shout out to those guys. I'm sure you guys have not subscribed already. Go subscribe. Great show and good dudes over there. Love listening to him. But here's what Jason Lloyd had to say yesterday on his show. And I mentioned this on my show last week on Saturday. I said, if LeBron comes back, I think there's a little more to him coming back than just finishing his career here. And I mentioned this article that came out coincidentally 2 weeks ago, almost, or a week and a half ago. It was sometime last week, June 26th. It says Cleveland Cavaliers owner retains bank to sell stake in NBA franchise. And Dan Gilbert has came out and said he's trying to sell 15% of the Cavs franchise, looking to sell up to 15%. That's roughly around, I think it was like 500 and I wrote it down. I did the math. I think the Cavs are worth 3.95. It's almost $593 million of ownership stake he's trying to sell. And so obviously LeBron has aspirations one day to be a part owner of the Cavs. And I brought this up last week that, hey, maybe, if LeBron came back, obviously he's only going to be on a low minimum deal, but he's still getting paid the money from the Lakers next year anyways. So he's still getting paid max money to play basketball, just not for the team that's paying him mainly. So, but what it's another way the Cavs could lure him back, or what would interest him, and has it always been in motion? And I mentioned that I think the Cavs have always been the place maybe where LeBron has looked to have some ownership when he retires from basketball, which he's even said that's what he's looking to do. I think LeBron's playing 2 more years max. And so in 2 years from now, I think he'll be looking to have some ownership stake when he retires and goes off in the sunset and still be involved with some basketball, personnel, front office, maybe type stuff, give input and all that as an owner. But the Cavs have always seemed like the spot where it could happen. I think either here or if the league expanded to Vegas, I think he's always had interest in the Vegas team, which he said. But that Vegas team's not going to be up and running till at the earliest 2028 if the league expands with Vegas and Seattle. So the Cavs right now make the most sense. And Dan Gilbert all of a sudden comes out last week and puts this out that, hey, I'm looking to sell up to 15%. And then not so long later, LeBron comes out and puts out his statement after he opted in through Rich Paul. Interesting. And so let's listen to hear what Jason Lloyd had to say yesterday, because I mentioned this on my show last week. And I even got another clip for you of somebody who you watched my show on Monday. I played a clip from Chris Broussard where he said back in 2017 that he thinks that LeBron has interest in owning the Cavs one day. And I played the clip from Maverick Carter as well. And so let's play this clip here from Jason Lloyd, what he had to say yesterday.
I asked that as well.
Yeah.
I think at the time there was no way he could go there.
Right.
It was too soon. Now has enough time passed. I don't know.
The Warriors.
They're
anymore.
not the Warriors
No.
of 2016, 17, 18.
Yeah.
So the only way to me that makes sense of him coming here would be on a buyout. And I don't understand why LA would do that, why they would pay him, because a buyout, he's not giving back half the money.
No.
He's only giving back a few million. I have a hard time getting all the way there on why the Lakers would do that. And I have a hard time believing that he would come here on a minimum.
Right.
Because it would have to be a minimum. And I can't believe that he would play for Dan, knowing Dan is only paying him the minimum. There would have to be something else on the back end
Right.
to make that deal whole.
And is LeBron?
His son is guaranteed a roster spot.
More than that. That ain't enough.
And
It's
you have
more
to
than
draft
that.
Is
Bryce
LeBron
James.
the only player with enough power? Because the Lakers buying him out doesn't make any sense. But could LeBron force their hand on that?
Sure, he's LeBron.
Yeah.
But
they in a trade they get something for him.
in a trade, you get something for him. And by just buying him out, letting him walk,
Yeah.
I don't know why they would do that.
So,
So,
yeah.
but again, never say never, man. We've seen some weird things. Who would ever think Luka would be traded?
Yeah.
Who would ever think that Milwaukee would need a $100 million contract? So you can't ever say never.
Right.
I just have a hard time believing that. And again, I'm talking Cleveland specific. How does he get here? To me, it has to be a buyout. It's not going to be a trade.
Right.
And
you're not even convinced he would come here even if there was a buyout, as you just said.
if there was, I'm not totally convinced it would be here, because I would be shocked that he would only take minimum from Dan, and that's all they could give him. I think that's just still a weird relationship. It always has been. It always will be. But if there's a sweetener,
like what? Ownership, partial ownership.
Maybe that 15% that's being.
Dan ain't gonna own the team forever.
Yeah. Oh, he's like an agreement to sell the team to LeBron. Can
I
LeBron
don't
afford an NBA team? Does he have that much money?
He's the first billionaire in NBA history.
I mean,
Right, but you got to be a multi-billionaire to own a team, don't you?
He could get the investors.
It's fair. Good point.
He could get.
He can get the investors. Interesting what Jason Lloyd said there, which is what I mentioned on my show last week. Shout out to Adam who's in here. Appreciate Adam for tuning in. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for tuning in. He said LeBron still averaged 24, 7, and 7 last year. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, still a top 5, 10 player in the league for sure. So adding him to your team definitely helps you win a championship, in my opinion. Definitely increases those odds. But staying on this topic, though, like I said, I mentioned this last week. I think the timing of Dan Gilbert putting up this, I want to, like McNuggets mentioned there, hey, I'm looking to sell 15% of this franchise. I think LeBron would be interested in that. And it's been said for years. Here's what Chris Broussard from Northeast Ohio, very close with LeBron camp, covered LeBron for many years. Here's what he said back in February 15th, 2019 on Undisputed. Here's what Chris Broussard had to say.
He said this. I mean, we've known for years that he wants to eventually own an NBA team. And he's even said in the past, maybe an NFL team as well. I actually think this is just pure speculation, not from anybody telling me. I think there may be a wink-wink deal between him and Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cavaliers, when, they talked and LeBron agreed to go back to Cleveland. And I really think the Cavs are probably the number one team that I'd rank as far as chances of him owning them.
There you go. And I remember that always stood out to me when Chris said that day, that he thought there was always a wink-wink deal between LeBron and Dan Gilbert that, hey, maybe down the road, when I came back in 2014, you can own the team, or give you part ownership, or we'll slowly and eventually you take over full ownership, as time goes on. LeBron's liaison, his guy, I don't want to say liaison, but one of his close friends, part of Clutch Sports, part of the Four Horsemen, as they call themselves. Maverick Carter said this when LeBron's first game back in Cleveland and as a Laker in November of 2018. Here's what Maverick Carter had to say that night.
Since we're here on LeBron's return to Cleveland upon joining the Lakers, and you are someone who has known him since childhood, this relationship with this community has been up and down and warm and crazy and everything. As he comes back tonight, what do you think sort of the bond with this town and this team is going, just not now, but in the future, his legacy here?
I think LeBron, being from Akron, which is right down the road from here, same place I'm from, this community, these people know him as more than a basketball player. They know him as more than an athlete. They know him as more than a guy who scores points. They know him as a guy who really cares about the community, who's built the school, puts his name, his face, his time, his money into the community. He's helped build businesses around here. I think Biz know him as, and will feel he's the greatest basketball player to ever play, and they feel that and love that. But I think more importantly, they know him as more than just LeBron, the basketball player, and they love him for that.
I mean, he has an entire school in Akron, Ohio, so that's got his name on it. But do you think we'll see a statue out here one day?
I don't know. I mean, I think, LeBron is so focused still on playing, as we all can see. He doesn't really talk about things like that. He talks about the next game, the last game, what's the season ahead. He doesn't really he hasn't started to look back at all, not one bit. I mean, every now and again, he's started to utter, when I'm done playing, I'm going to do this, or when I'm done playing, I want to buy a team, and when I'm done playing, I like to own. But he doesn't really talk about things like that. So I don't know. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. You never know. It depends on who's the owner at that time and how they feel.
So do you think that he might end up buying this team? Because then he could decide about the statue.
I think, if this team was up for sale, he'd definitely be one of the people who'd look at buying it for sure.
If this team was up for sale, he'd definitely be one of the people looking to buy it for sure. We know how calculated LeBron and his camp are. Very calculated. Just like everything he's doing this week is very calculated. And they've been saying this stuff for years. The day he opened that school, by the way, they mentioned, in July of 2018, I shared the clip on the local Channel 3 News. LeBron was asked, hey, would you ever run it back full circle here one day and still finish your career here? And he said, well, I never say never. He didn't shoot it down. And I have that clip in my previous episodes. Go watch them. He didn't shoot it down ever. They've always left the door open. And now that Dan Gilbert's put this 15% up for sale, and LeBron's coming out last Sunday and saying, hey, I might threaten to leave LA if I don't think we're good enough to win. Then he's at the Cavs practice facility today. On all the stuff, cryptic stuff he's posted all week. And, I think it could be, again, you add all that up, it seems like it's heading towards a departure this offseason in LA. And even if he doesn't get bought, who knows? Maybe this is all LeBron. Maybe he's a little salty because Luka's got all the power now in LA and they're not listening to him or building a team around. Maybe he does go back to LA next season. Maybe he plays one last season in LA. I still think he plays 2 more years. And I think he's still going to have that retirement tour. I still think he finished his career in Cleveland. I think it makes the most sense And I think if he really wants to maximize his chance of winning a championship, I think he's better off coming here and coming out of the East next year with this Cavs team. And so, very interesting, though, to see all this. You know, you go back to this last, what was that, June 26th, the ownership thing. All the stuff with LeBron this week since he came out and him and Rich Paul, if I can find it, give me 1 second, put out that statement. Well, you guys know what I'm talking about. They put out the statement of him possibly threatening to leave the Lakers right here since that statement, right? And then we go back to this week and, you know, Allie Clifton's post, him saying proper tired of the Cavs uniform and I'm out golf with the welcome home hat on in Ohio. And then I'm at the Cavs practice facility today, which good chance he hasn't been back there since 2018. Why are you there today? Looks like he was working out too. No shirt on. That means he's in there working out. He knows what he's doing. This is all calculated by LeBron. They've left the door open for years, and I think that I think this is where it's all at. It's got to be heading towards a buyout because again, the Lakers are not going to want to trade. Number one, LeBron doesn't want to trade on his resume. The whole trade stuff this week was all smoke and mirrors. He was never going to get traded. He was never going to ask to be traded. Yes, he has a no trade clause, but he's not going to pull from a team, number one, that he wants to go to. And number two, he doesn't want the trade on his resume. I don't think he wants that. And the Lakers, too, I don't think their goal is to build around Luka. And you've seen the reports this week, hey, we're built for 26 and 27. They're not going to bring guys back just to appease LeBron and put on the roster like a Jared Allen for $20 million a year. And you know, if they don't want that on their books in the future. I think that's why they might trade Austin Reeves because they lowballed Austin Reeves 2 weeks ago because they don't think he's worth the money he wants. And I think eventually they'll end up trading him because they don't want to pay him the money he wants down the road because they're trying to keep their books as clear as possible, especially with this new tax apron stuff. You know, how all that stuff works. You got to be very calculated in how you spend your money. Obviously, they have the pockets now with Mark Walter. He has no problem spending money. So, well, Dodgers are a phenomenal franchise. And, you know, I'm sure they'll turn the Lakers back to, I mean, Lakers have always been great, but I'm sure they'll take it to a whole nother level now with their pockets. So, with Luka, you know, they're clearing their books for 26, 27. That's their priority. And so that's where I think this is all heading. And you got LeBron and the Lakers and Luka going in two different directions. You're not going to bring back LeBron in your building who doesn't want to be there. Let's just buy him out. We're not competing next year anyways. Let's just, you know, separate now. It's a good time to leave each other. You know what I mean? It's a good divorce. We had a good time together. Now it's time to leave each other. And LeBron can go finish out his career. And it's like the end of that statement said too, right here from Rich Paul. The Lakers know it. You know, it says right there, we understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. It's basically saying both don't mesh. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at his stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that and are supportive and want what's best for him. So they're willing to depart ways, is what they're saying. Well, if he wants a buyout, you know what? We got Luka. We're building for our future, like it says there. LeBron, you want to leave now? Hey, you gave us, 7-8 years, whatever it's been. We got a championship. Thanks for everything. Best of luck to you. That's where it's going. And so that's where I think it's probably going. And so fascinating stuff, though. Fascinating stuff. Keep your phone on alert all weekend because it could happen. I think by Sunday it could happen. Maybe it gets bought out or we'll have an idea. We'll know. And who knows where this all ends up. Very fascinating story, though. But very, very bizarre when I saw it today. LeBron at the Cavs practice facility. That was very bizarre. And he's done a lot of things all week. Like I said, they're very cryptic. And we'll see where it ends up. Just stay tuned. But shout out to Adam. I believe he subbed. Adam, if you did, and all the people that subbed today, if you're watching, shout out to you guys. Shout out to all you guys. Thanks for your subs and your support. Hope to see you guys back here. We open the panel many times as well. I'll drop the link. You guys come here and share your opinion. And without you guys, we wouldn't be able to grow this show. And so we thank you for all the support. Any subscription doesn't go unnoticed. Believe me. Thank you very much. And happy 4th of July to everybody. Stay safe. Hope you guys have a great holiday weekend, and hopefully some fireworks in the sports world as well for Cavs fans. But he said the Lakers had a terrible bench last year. I think they literally averaged 10 bench points a game. In the T-Wolves series, nothing was Bron's fault. And that's my point, Adam. Him going back to that team serves no purpose. They're building for Luka. DeAndre Ayton, same age as Luka. Jackson Hayes being brought back, who gave nothing last year. same agent as Luka. I'm sure LeBron wants Jackson Hayes back. Not. And so you make a great. That's what I said earlier, Adam. That bench was terrible last year. Yeah, they finished third in the West because, just like the Cavs too. They finished number 1 in the East, 60+ win team. But you got to be built for the postseason. The Lakers are not built for the postseason. I think the Cavs, that roster that we finished the season with, clearly was not. Obviously, they had the injuries and stuff, but I think there was still a lot of glaring things that they were not built for the postseason. I mean, they didn't have the leadership, they didn't have the experience, the size at the guard position, the guard, multiple positions and switch things, and they lack another player in the front court. But they also lack, in my opinion, another big-time player out there like a LeBron James, somebody who can control the game and take the load off Donovan Mitchell. And so I think bringing in Lonzo Ball gave you more perimeter defense, 6'6", 6'7", right? And I think Larry Nance Jr. is still a solid player when healthy, a good backup rotational big, and gives you good. We know how much the Cavs mean to Larry Nance Jr. He's bought into this franchise, the city, obviously from here, and I think he's a guy that I think will not demand, but I think a guy who will. He's a good leader. I think guys respect Larry Nance Jr. He's a good piece to have in your locker room. And he understands his role. He understands who he is. But I think he brings good value. If you tell me, hey, I got Larry Nance for 15 minutes in a playoff game that night, I feel pretty good about that. I think he could be productive. And, it means a lot to him playing here. And I think that's what we need is more of those guys who have – Nance has been around Kobe, been around LeBron, been on some winning teams, been in the finals. He understands a lot of good basketball. And I think that's what we need is that kind of leadership in the locker room. Guys who are mature and guys respect and listen to. That's what we need. And guys that lead by example. So I think now you just need that one last piece. And that one last piece, in my opinion, I think if you put LeBron on this team, if he gets bought out and he signs here, I think now you got the experience. You have obviously the overall player you've been looking for in terms of just another star. I think he obviously is a star, but also a guy who can handle the ball. We all know the things LeBron can do. And I think having the pieces around him too with the bigs and Donovan Mitchell who can take the load off him and go off any night. Darius can go off any night, and Darius is a great shooter. They got all the shooters here. I mean, this team is built for a LeBron-led team, in my opinion. And that's my opinion. So he said he agrees. Yeah, shout out to his progressive sports fan. Good to see you back. He said LeMinstrel. Then he's going off by LeBron. He's not a LeBron fan, I guess. But shout out to you, Progressive. Thanks for tuning in, my friend. And shout out to you, Adam. And shout out to Humble. Shout out to Wally. Good to see you, brother. Shout out to Bruce, Parmesan, Mike. And shout out to all you guys watching on the playback. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share and all that good stuff. And stay tuned. We'll see what happens. And happy 4th, everybody. I'm out of here. Oh, almost didn't click the button. Uh-oh. I'm out of here.